Aerodrome Finance is pushing the boundaries when it comes to the growth of the V33 DEX. So we have seen the rally recently in its token, TVL, as well as its volume. And because of all of this, this fueled the rally of similar V33 DEXs that are the leaders on their specific blockchains. So to name a few, we have Ve'ERO and DEFI. We have discussed these in previous videos. You can check them on the channel. We have talked about their growth as well as their correlation with whatever is happening with Aerodrome. Sorry to interrupt you there, folks. I just want to quickly chime in and mention that we are currently working on a project called Numerical. It's DeFi as a service, meaning you'll get exposed to real DeFi protocols that generate real revenue, aka real yield, and you're gonna get a cut of this without doing the setup yourself. All you have to do is enter, claim, or withdraw. Very simple. So your capital is available at all times to take, and you can choose the option where to invest. More details in the description and in our community chat. Now today I want to look at a few protocol metrics that some people overlook sometimes, right? So we need to understand, is this still growing? Is there demand? Is there, a push forward here, and what's going on in regards to price action? Now, you are quite aware that the aero token can be traded right now on Coinbase, as well as the veEERO token on top of it. So now there is a huge SEX support. So previously you can only trade it on the DEX itself, but now it's out there, and my personal opinion is that there will be more SEX support going forward. First thing I want to look at is something that I haven't showed you previously, and that is the veAERO lockups and who owns the majority of these, because you know very well that you can earn the aero token or buy it on the open market, and then if you lock it for the vested version, and then you can vote on the bribes plus the fees on specific pools. All right, so currently people are not quite aware who are the holders of these veAERO tokens, what's going on there, and this dashboard right here can give you an idea of what's going on. Now, the rule of thumb that most people perhaps are not aware of is that the majority of the holdings is held with protocols that are putting their pools on Aerodrome. So if you are somebody, if you are a project that is providing, the ability for people to stake their LP in your token or coin, meaning you are a holder of veAERO token. And that's, based on what you see here. There is approximately 9.9 million to the top holder. Now, Millennium Club, I'm not sure. I tried to research who they are. I'm not entirely sure. My personal speculation is that this is actually the team itself, but I'm not sure. All right, if you scroll back down, you see who are the top 2 and 3. Inverse Finance, because, they have their dollar token, their dollar stablecoin. We have also discussed Inverse Finance in quite a few videos. You can check them out on that channel. Interesting protocol, and their stablecoin is also quite interesting. You can check them out. They also hold a significant amount of veAERO, and then the list goes down. If you go back down in here, you can see the top holders. So like I said, all of these are projects that have their token or their coin listed on Aerodrome. And here's the idea, right? So these projects, because they are providing bribes and because they hold a significant amount of veAERO, they will recycle some of that money, so they will capture most of it so they can keep going. And that's the cool thing about this loop. You have a project that provides, let's say, 100k in bribes, but because their weight in veAERO tokens is so significant that they would potentially capture up to 95% of that total amount, and then there's a trickle that goes to the other veAERO holders. And that's, in my personal opinion, what should be happening. veAERO holders, the retail holders, will be benefiting, of course, based on their small allocation or their smaller allocation, but the majority of this should go back to the project that keeps incentivizing high APR, leveraging their LP. As long as people trust this project, as long as people are earning with their project, they will be more than happy for this to happen. And that is the cool, value capture part when it comes to projects incentivizing LP, because they cannot keep doing this if they have to keep funding money and capture none of it at the end of the day. Another health metric that you should look at is the increase of veAERO holders, and you can clearly see that we are in an uptrend and it's continuing. So people have faith in the longevity of that protocol, they are acquiring that Aero tokens and they are locking up their Aero tokens. And as long as this keeps going up, means there's trust, means there's basically future-oriented holders and investors that are in the project itself. Another thing that also sometimes is overlooked is the idea of where's that bribe money, heavily being pushed in regards to which pools. Now this pie chart right here tells you where most of the bribes are coming in, and obviously the majority of liquidity is in USDC Aero, and that's simply because that pair provides a high APR and you're holding the token as a result of it. So if it drops down, you get more. So it's a win-win situation for people who want to hold the Aero token. Now, one thing that I found quite bizarre in our personal opinion is that Inverse Finance, being the second holder of veAERO, has their pool right here. So Dollar, unfortunately, actually it's right here. So Dollar, unfortunately, doesn't provide a lot of bribes, even though they do have a lot of veAERO. Now that's not an issue, so to speak, because they are capturing most of it, but so far it's alright because they do have a high APR on their stablecoin. I think it's about 100% right now, so it's still okay. But if there's more competition, I expect them to pump more money because, like I said, they are capturing back most of it. So if you go through that pie chart, you can clearly see that the majority is in Aero USDC, then you have ETH USDC, then you have Aero USDC again, and you have ETH Aero. So those are the major pairs, that have Aero, ETH, and USDC combined in a pair of twos. And that's good, right? That shows that the most famous pair, the ones that are basically capturing most of the voting power at the end of the day, are prominent pairs and not degen pairs, because if that were the case, means the protocol is no longer as serious as I would think. But this shows me that most of the money is smart money and it's going where it should be. Now if we want to talk growth, we correlate the growth of base, which is currently at 805 million. That's amazing, right? So it keeps growing, to the growth of Aerodrome. So Aerodrome still is the number one protocol on the base chain in regards to TVL, followed by Uniswap. And it keeps growing, right? You see those figures in green, means the TVL is growing up. Now, here's the small part that I have a small issue with, I would say. Now, the volume, as you can see, is cramping up and it's doing amazing. Over the past week, it's almost up 88%. Even with a smaller TVL, Uniswap is still taking the cake. Uniswap is still the forefront in regards to trading overall. Aerodrome is trying to catch up, but there's still a lot of room for it to go. But hopefully we will see a situation where Aerodrome will have the highest TVL and the highest volume, because more volume means more fees. More fees will accelerate the growth even further. Now they have increased drastically in regards to volume over the past month or so, but still, I think in my personal opinion, they should outshine Uniswap, because Uniswap is multi-chain and it's not like it's putting focus specifically on the base chain or whatever, but Aerodrome has all of its focus on the base chain, so they should, in reality, or they would get there. Now, I see this as basically a forefront product type of issue, meaning, in my personal opinion, their UI should be more friendly, more user-friendly, and if they create an app, that will also incentivize them and will push them, because Uniswap has an app. Uniswap is better in terms of user interface and experience, so there's that. And that's something that I think they are working on and they should be working on. And last thing, the price is still at a very high level in my personal opinion. It's not dropping drastically. It has small drops, but then it recovers. And you can clearly see who are the buyers here. Look at the amount of sellers I'm counting the number of sellers and the number of buyers. The volume is more or less equal. Sometimes buyers outshine sells, but you can clearly see that sellers are retail, liquidity providers who have a bit of money there. They, they basically take their tokens and then they sell them on the market. Those are small fish, but at the end of the day, the big boys are acquiring Aero because they believe in the longevity. Of course, there are retails in between, but the idea is that the majority of these sells come from people providing liquidity, and that's not an issue. And here's the beauty here, right? There's a balance between people who want profits today, people who want delayed gratification because they believe in the product, and you have people who are in between. One more thing, we have a Telegram group. Feel free to join us. Lots of cool people, lots of knowledge in crypto and DeFi. You won't regret it. And with that, see you in the next one. Have a good one.